the Darabont script was so powerful to me, where he is like in front of I don't know where he is. He's like talking to the United States, like Indiana Jones is being
in D.C. somewhere. Yeah,
he's in D.C. talking at some huge conference or something. At least that's how I pictured it in my head. I don't know. Sometimes I read a script and I picture it different than what it probably is supposed to be. But I imagine he's a big deal, and they're like, "What do you have to say to the people of America?" And he's like, "I only have 2 words to say." And then it cuts to the wedding, and he's like, "I do." And then they like have this conversation at their wedding, like at the reception or whatever, where she asks him like, "What did you see when you were shown the universe?" And that's where he kind of answers the question. To me, that ending was so much more, it was so powerful, because we get the wedding, but then we get a punchline to it. Like, we get more Indy, we get something more and get an actual end to Indy. He's going on to be married and be in love and have a life after this, finally, where he doesn't need anything else. He could have had the universe, instead he picked love. And then it cuts to the crazy guy who like moves some spoons with his mind or something, and then the stars. And I was like,
Indiana Jones's dad, who would have been Sean Connery, is singing "Fly Me to the Moon" in a nice little cameo.
Oh, it would have been so
better.
good. Yeah, so much better than what does he say? There's the fucking one of the worst lines I've ever heard in a movie is that scene where Shia LaBeouf is like going to leave. He's like, "Where? Are you going to leave us now?" And he's like, "Well, you did, Dad," or something like that. And then they all laugh. It's like, is that a joke? Like, he's talking about his father abandoning him. Like, is that an abandonment joke?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, and look, we're giving LaBeouf a little bit of static here. I don't necessarily think that he's that bad of an actor. He's been good in stuff.
Oh, I think he's amazing in a lot of stuff. I actually think he's a fantastic actor when he's in a fantastic role.
Totally, and I think it's really sad. Like, if they had given him your idea of a meaty, double-crossing son of Indiana Jones, but then at the end he wins him back somehow or sacrifices himself, it would have been a totally different picture. And like you said, Darabont's draft is like more powerful and has more of a theme and a point to it, instead of at the end of Crystal Skull where Indy's hat blows away and LaBeouf's going to pick it up and just go away. Lucas, you know what you should do, Lucas? You should make those independent movies that you've been threatening to make for years, because they're probably better.
But here's the thing. Even in this movie, I don't think LaBeouf is bad. Like, I don't think... Yes, the things that he was given to do are bad. Like, swinging with the monkeys, which, by the way, there's also a scene in Darabont's script where a monkey shits on Indy's chest.
Yes, there are. I wrote down in my notes here, I said there's a heading, Indy bad. It's not necessarily a flawless script. There's some pretty bad shit where, Indiana Jones gets shit on by a monkey on his chest.
And there's like the scene that is in the movie with that car chased through the forest or whatever. That scene, and they like go off a cliff and then they fall off of a waterfall and then another waterfall or something.
That's in there too.
That's in there, and it reads exactly like it came out.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, I actually rewatching it thought it was a little better. In the movie,
I think
than
they
it was
trimmed
in the
it
script.
down a little bit, right? Because in here it says it's 4. They fall over 4 waterfalls instead of...
It's 4 waterfalls. How ridiculous would that be?
Yeah. Along the way, there's a little love triangle between Marion, and she's married to this guy named Balako, who's also an adventurer, and then Indy's along for the ride. So there's like a little, love triangle going on, which is a pretty good detail. But he gets his brain melted at the end because he asks for, I don't know, maybe infinite knowledge or something like that. But Marion like immediately marries Indiana Jones after that.
I know. It's so cheesy because it's like there is this love triangle, and then when he essentially becomes a bad dude, it's just like, oh, good, now I know who I get to go with.
Right, and she gets like, over him immediately. Like there's not really a conflict. I don't know
I was married to him for 25 years. Like, seriously, how long was it? Because it had to have been.
It had to be a while. Yeah.
A while, like how old is LaBeouf supposed to be in this? Like 20,
I'd
19?
say 20. Yeah, it was college age.
So 20 years that he's been married to her.
Yeah, and then there's another part. I may have misread, but it's backed up in one of the research articles, which again we'll share all over the place. Indy actually says before he shoots the alien, "Welcome to Earth." What the fuck is he, Will Smith? These people haven't seen Independence Day. Spielberg, Lucas, welcome to Earth.
He literally does say "Welcome to Earth." Yes,
but that's
in
such
there.
a stupid line because "Welcome to Earth." They've been on Earth. They the way that they describe it is that these aliens helped the dawn of civilization. They basically ushered humans into technology and things like that. So, welcome to Earth. What the fuck?
I'll say, yeah, and they do have. There's a lot of indie lines in this movie, or in this script, in Darabont's script, that I'm like, oh, Darabont, you think you're so fucking clever.
He does.
Like there's some lines. I love Darabont, but there are lines in there where I'm like, we get it. You're an Indiana Jones fan.
Yeah,
like,
there's that line where he says, he twists it, right? He's like,
yeah.
I think, here, I have it pulled up somewhere. Marion says something to him, and he says, instead of it's not the years, it's the mileage, he says it's not the mileage.
It's not the mileage. Yep.
It's not the mileage, it's the years. That's pretty fucking bad.
It's so tongue-in-cheek, like I almost want to hear the like ultra nerds in the audience clap along. Like I can hear it as I was reading it, where the people are like, "Oh yeah, I get it. She didn't get it. I got that one."
He remembered something he said 40 years ago and then twisted it into a cute little saying. No, shut up.
Now, if that scene, see, I can forgive that one in as much as if he says it and they keep going, fine. Like if it just is a breeze past line and whatever. But even reading it, it had like a beat after it where it's like, oh, you're pausing for the laugh track there. I feel you, Darabont. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, he has some interesting tendencies. I mean, have you ever watched an interview with him?
I have. I actually watched the interview where someone asks him about this script.
Yes, we'll share that.
He gives a very it's a very sour interview, but he never says anything.
He says he told Spielberg, he told Lucas that he's insane. When Lucas rejected the script.
But he says it with like a chuckle. He's like, he told him he's insane. And, there's probably things in because it came out before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That interview was before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out, right?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
And so he's like, I guess we'll see what they use from it.
Yeah. I mean, there's things that he should have gotten something. He should have gotten some sort of a story credit, because there's so many things that are lifted.
It's a lot of the movie, man. It's crazy. I'm blown away.
It's stated that WikiLeaks actually leaked the script at a certain point after the movie was not well received, and that Julian Assange alluded to the fact that it was Darabont. So he leaked it to WikiLeaks to show like, hey, it wasn't my fault.
Still, like, I'm shocked that he didn't get a credit. Like, if it's true. Now, there's also, I read speculation that because of the WikiLeaks thing and whatever, it's like a really, really, really well-crafted fan script.
Oh, that what we read is not really the draft.
It's not, and Darabont doesn't respond to anything about it. So, to me, I was like, there's no way it's not. It's written like a Darabont script. I've read tons of Darabont scripts, and it's just like I'm a nerd. That's why we're doing this podcast. I read scripts like a geek, and Darabont scripts are written like this. There's structural things in this that remind me of The Mist. The way that things keep coming, and it's just like something happening, then followed by. I mean, I know that's a generalization of every movie, but the way that they like build the anticipation to something big happening really quick, followed by a bunch of terror. That's like a total Darabont move. And so I think it is, but I also think that he's got to be so, if it is, he's got to be so mad that they took that much.
Well, he said since they rejected it, he wasted a year of his life, essentially.
Right.
Yeah, that's terrible. And even, okay, let's say that it is a fan script. Whoever the fuck wrote that, let's hire this guy and make him a professional screenwriter. Or maybe he is. Maybe it was like, Jeff Nathanson, the guy, who was like on it after Darabont or whatever. And, who knows? But this script is really awesome. I really enjoyed reading it. There's really cool things in there. And it's boils it down. It's an Indiana Jones movie. And what we got was not.
Yeah, and when I picture sequences like that snake sequence and think about what what it could be with Spielberg, just Spielberg, the old Spielberg, with not a shitload of visual effects, doing it, mixing practical, and like, I almost want to see that scene. I want to see it done in like 1987. Like, I want to know what that would look like.
And also, poor Karen Allen. The Marion in this script is great. I mean, the first thing, he walks up to India and she basically just punches him right in the face. That's how they...
Twice, I think.
Right, but
doesn't she punch him twice?
Yeah, I think so. But in the finished movie, she just looks at him, puts her hands on her hips, and is like, Indiana Jones. and she looks like she's high on like whatever the 1950s version of salvia was, if there was salvia back then. Poor Karen Allen. She got robbed. She
did. And that's it. Watching Raiders, or because I watched them in reverse. I watched Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and then I watched Raiders. She's so good in Raiders. Like, that introduction to her doing the shots is so fantastic. Like, she's instantly a badass. In this, I don't know. She's an adventurer who doesn't know quicksand. Like, this is what she does, right? She does this shit, and Indy has to explain how the difference between quicksand... It's like, she's been on these adventures. She has done these things before. She knows this shit. Why is he explaining it to her?
Yeah, it's. I'm gonna cry. I'm very upset about this.
He is gonna cry. I'm looking at him right now, and he is in tears.
She is really great. I mean, Starman.
Yep.
Oh, I just touched myself under the desk.
Yeah, but she's so, she's just given such a better role. And in the Darabont script, like, she is his sidekick. There is no Shia LaBeouf. There is, like, she is the second character of the movie, and it just makes it so much. It's not a cameo. What we got, it almost feels like a cameo.
It's a glorified cameo. It really is.
Well, and that's in the original script. Sean Connery makes 2 small appearances.
He does, yes.
And in this, it's like his photo, and he's like, I miss you, Dad. I miss you.
Like the worst way to kiss.
Somewhere Dad's looking down at me as I go see some aliens.
Meanwhile, it's a headshot of him as like James Bond or something. Ugh.
Welcome to heaven, Dad. Welcome to heaven.
Say hello to heaven. Wait, no, that's too late. That's another thing. The music in this is good, but there's not that extra memorable theme. Like, there's no Crystal Skull theme that you can hum. I can hum Raiders. Meow, shmeow, 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 shmeow. That's like the arc theme.
Right.
In this, there's none of that. I even think in Temple of Doom, there's another theme.
Oh, yeah, Temple of Doom has a couple of, like, amazing
smash, 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 smash. And, you know, the only reason I'm singing it with Schmau is because if you sing a melody with Schmau, they can't legally come after you. Or if you meow a melody, you're good. Yeah, yep. They can't sue us because we're schmowing and meowing. So,
no one's suing the schmowers. You're right. Now that I think about that, you're totally right. There isn't. All of the other 3 have thematic moments for the intense parts. Like, they have something that hits, and this one doesn't have that. But because when I started the movie, the intro is really good. Like, the score is actually really good at the beginning of Crystal Skull. But I never remember hearing it again, and it's really just a score. It's just like a really nice, beautiful, epic score that comes in that makes you like, we're in for some indie shit. Oh, what are those, prairie dogs? Oh, okay. If prairie dogs were done right, I guess I'd be okay with it. Even the first shot of the prairie dog doesn't necessarily ruin it for me. That one I'm just like, okay, prairie dog. It's when they're flying by and they're like...
Yeah.
Like,
they're
like,
fucking
what the
talking
fuck?
to each other. This is bullshit.
The one looks at the other one and he's like, "Oh no!"
And the other one's like, "Did you see that? Oh, holy shit! I'm rubbing myself underneath the molehill. Oh.
That thing's cruising. We're about to get nuked, motherfucker."
There should have been subtitles. I bet you there was an argument like subtitle those fucking prairie dogs, and Spielberg's like, George, you've lost it.
I can't
It's
do
over.
that. I've done